Matt Rhule has been with Nebraska for a little bit more than a year. So in this video, I decided I was going to highlight the number one most impressive thing he's done so far with the Cornhuskers. And we're going to go in detail about that accomplishment and how he's getting Nebraska back to national relevancy. So real quick, if you like the content, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps me out and it's free, along with subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out any more Nebraska football content this offseason. We're only getting started and we're getting videos out almost every single day. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about Matt Rhule and his career so far with the Cornhuskers. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster, kind of an underwhelming hire, but people really started to love it after a couple days. And then, of course, the season came and went, 5-7. Also a little bit underwhelming, but he's done super great in the offseason. Of course, getting Dylan Rhule, getting some key transfers. And that's really what I'm going to talk about in this video, is the transfer portal. It's been scrutinized in the past when it comes to Matt Rhule's philosophy. When he came out of the NFL and was hired by Nebraska, a lot of people were wary that he didn't know how to use the transfer portal. He didn't know what it was about. Obviously, he was in the NFL when it was implemented. And a lot of people said, oh, he's not getting enough guys from the portal. He's only getting 5 or so guys. Look at other programs. They're getting 15, 20. But we're not even going to talk about that. What we're going to talk about is the fact that Matt Rhule has kept players at a higher rate than almost any other program in the country. Everybody's struggling to keep good talent. You look at the Big Ten. They're losing very good players. They're going off to the SEC. They're going off to other teams. Same deal with the SEC. They're losing top-tier talents. For example, Caleb Downs at Alabama went over to Ohio State. So a lot of great players are leaving programs to go elsewhere. Matt Rhule in his program in 2024 only had 5 players leave. And let's real quick go over every single one. You have 2 quarterbacks, Jeff Sims and Chubba Purdy. You're totally fine with those guys leaving. And you have 3 others that you probably wouldn't even recognize the name of. Tamon Linham, Javier Morton, and Jake Applegate. So you're fine with those guys leaving as well. And that's it. Nebraska ranks dead last in the Big Ten when it comes to players leaving the program. And we're looking at Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan State. 15, 20, 25 plus guys leaving, trying to go to greener pastures. And Nebraska doesn't have any of that. And really, this is not only a testament to Nebraska as a program, the fact that we're trending up. This is something that I've been talking about when it comes to Matt Rhule since his introductory press conference. He went in there and told everybody that not only was he going to build a great football team, that he was going to make young men leaders, and he was going to build a great chemistry for Nebraska going forward, and he's going to build a great culture. Now, he can say all that, and we can believe it, but the real proof in the pudding is whether or not players buy in and stick with the program even after a tough year like what was 2023. And what we found out is that they did. Nobody transferred. Nobody of importance left the program. Gone are the days of Wan'Dale Robinson leaving Nebraska to go to Kentucky and him succeeding elsewhere. Or, for example, Ernest Hausman leaving to go to Michigan. We are no longer going to see super talented players leave the Cornhuskers. Yes, you might see one every now and then, maybe once every 2-3 years. That's just what's going to happen in college football. But we're never going to be like Ole Miss. Or we're never going to be like Michigan State, where it's just mass exodus all over the program every single offseason. And this is a testament to Matt Rhule. It's a testament to his culture, to his program, to Nebraska, his positional coaches, the entire foundation. This is what he's all about. He told you in his introductory press conference, not only was he going to recruit at a high level, which he's already done, getting 5 stars, 4 stars alike. He was also going to develop at a high level, get these guys to the promised land. All right, you can recruit. We've seen coaches come in here and get top 20 classes. Scott Frost, Mike Riley both did it. But you need to develop. He's also said he's going to do that. So those 2 are great, but there's also a third component in modern day college football, and that is retaining. Okay, developing and recruiting doesn't mean anything when those players are being developed and then therefore leaving to go to Notre Dame or going to Ohio State to try to get themselves to the league. You got to retain these guys as well, and Matt Rhule has done all 3. So that's really the biggest thing that I've been super impressed with when it comes to Matt Rhule, right? Let's talk about some of our true freshmen who played last year. Malachi Coleman, Jalen Lloyd, Cameron Lenhard, Prince Emmanuel. Those are 4 players that would, if they enter the transfer portal, would be highly sought after. Those guys could probably go to any school they want. Instead, they decided to buy in, stick with Matt Rhule, stick with Nebraska, because not only do they know that Nebraska is going to be a competitor going forward, that they're going to be at the top of the Big Ten very soon, but they know that Nebraska can bring them to the NFL as potentially a first rounder, second rounder, third rounder. So, man, that's basically the thing that I've been super impressed with when it comes to Matt Rhule. I remember I'd be so anxious when the season ended when it came to Scott Frost because we'd see all these players leave. I don't have to worry about that anymore for Matt Rhule. I know that when we have a good player, he's going to stay for the long haul. So that's why there's already rumors that Rhule is going to leave the Cornhuskers after this year. That's nonsense. Along with any other player you can hear that from. They're not leaving because Matt Rhule builds the culture and he's going to keep good players going forward. And the last thing I want to say on the subject is it's very similar to the NFL. In the NFL, to build a good team, you want to get all your players in the draft and then basically supplement some of your holes through free agency. That is how you build a successful team. You cannot basically get all of your good players in free agency and draft poorly. You will never succeed that way in the NFL. You will never win a Super Bowl. When we talk about college football, you can never be successful if you only get your players through the transfer portal. You have got to develop, you've got to recruit, and then you can obviously supplement through the transfer portal, get a couple guys here to fill a couple holes, but you never want the portal to be your primary focal point of your team like it has been in the past. So that's what Matt Rhule is trying to get away with. He's trying to recruit a high level and then only supplement through the portal, and he's doing a very good job at it. So personally, that's been my biggest accomplishment of Matt Rhule so far, and that is going to translate very well to the field, especially in 2024, when we see people bought into the culture, bought into the way of doing things. A lot of times that's all you need in order to have a successful program. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to have the most star players, but if you're bought into a certain scheme, bought into a coach, you're going to win 8, 9, 10 games a season, and maybe even more. So Nebraska, feeling very good about it, feeling very good about Matt Rhule. This is a guy who he's going to bring Nebraska back. And I don't know what extent he's going to bring Nebraska back, whether that's to a national title, whether that's to a Big Ten title. But I know one thing, and I feel very confident about it. Nebraska will be winning 8, 9, 10 games very consistently under Matt Rhule, and the sky is the limit if he keeps recruiting the way he is. So, and one thing I wanted to address when I was editing this video, there's always going to be comments that say Matt Rhule is going to leave Nebraska if he brings them back. He's going to go to the SEC. He's going to go back to the NFL. That will never happen. When Matt Rhule says that his family loves Lincoln, he loves Lincoln, he means it. And he's here for the long haul. He loves college football. He said it was nice to try out the NFL, but it's not for him. He likes coaching young men and making them leaders, and making them real men. And that's what he's going to always bring to the table. And that's why if he brings Nebraska back, he's here for the long haul. He's here for retirement. So wanted to address that real quick because I know there's going to be a couple comments about that. Matt Rhule's here for a long time, folks, and he's not going to leave. Keeps recruiting the way he is. So let me know down below what you think about Matt Rhule and specifically his efforts in the portal, along with everything else he's been doing so far for the Cornhuskers, and everything else. Again, let me know down below. I'll try to respond to everybody. Please make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more Nebraska football content. And as always, folks, go Matt Rhule, go Big Red, and see you in the next one.